Hello and welcome to this mini training regarding how to become more confident with helping clients with physical issues. And for this particular training, we are going to ask the question, what is the best metaphor to help our clients relieve any physical symptoms that they come to you for? And so this is a clip here. As you can see, this is taken from one of our trainings with a real problem that our client Deb is experiencing here. And we are going to have a clip of her talking about this issue. Now, this is more towards the middle of the session. Her initial presenting problem was going into um, transcribing. Whenever she would transcribe something, she would feel tension in her jaw. So she's got some physical tension that she'd like to eradicate. So let us hear her and listen to her talk about the problem.
Yeah, like I'm feeling it right now, and I feel as though like the deep breathing to sort of open up where it's been closed. Like,
What's closed?
Good. So one of the concepts that I teach that will help you become next level client centered and to really allow for a better transformation for your clients is your ability to ask questions. And as Deb was talking about, she says that she's feeling this feeling and it feels closed, right? And so the therapist here, Sadie, asked a really good question. What is closed, right? Very simple. There's nothing overly fancy about it. This is why it works, right? A lot of practitioners get too in their heads about saying the right things. What are the right things I'm going to say to my client? What are the right questions? What do I need to say to help a client go to their subconscious deeper? And while those are valid, that is actually slowing your results down because what are you doing when you start thinking about that, doubting yourself and second guessing yourself and overthinking? You are taking your energy away from your client. You are thinking of what you are doing versus how you can help your client. And one of the things that you do to help your clients better is to really pay attention to what they are saying. And so what Sadie has done here really well is she just paid attention to what Deb is saying and kept questioning about it. There was nothing fancy, like I said, like she said. What she was doing was just asking her questions about what she just said to get more information. Investigatory questions are going to take you faster to the root cause compared to any fix it type questions of saying, okay, now close down, now open that area. I'm like making her do it, right? If you were trained in any therapeutic modality, whether that be hypnosis or NLP or EFT, like you can tap out to that closeness so it opens, or like getting you to imagine or helping you to imagine it opening up. Like that is what the role is for the practitioner. We say none of that bullshit in our world. Why? Because we as practitioners don't really know, right? Like we don't know what is going to be the best for our clients. All we can do is keep investigating, and our clients are going to figure out the answer themselves. That is the point.
sort of getting like this visualization now of like this deep well.
So as you can see here, you can visibly see that although her eyes are open, she is in a technical trance. So for those of you who are trained in hypnosis, her looking up and really being in that space of deep thinking, that's trance, right? It's not closed, it's not relaxed, it's not like a happy-go-lucky. You can actually sense some tenseness in Deb right now as well because she's still in the space, right? She's investigating the problem, which is not a bad thing. contrary to most trainings about positive, toxic positivity, I should say. They want you to relax your client, they want you to calm them, but in our world, we don't give a shit about that, right? Because truth of the matter is, what is life? Is life always going to be calm? No, right? Life is meant to be experienced both up and down. And so when a client explores this problem, what you are helping them with is giving them that time to sit in the suck so that they can figure out the problem and the way out of the problem. And so what are you indirectly doing in that space, right? You are helping your clients to problem solve, which is going to be better for them in the future instead of just bypassing and putting morphine drip type, oh, clients, let's go for a hug, let's imagine and relax. That's not real life. And this is exactly why my clients, my students' clients leave each and every session more resilient and ready to handle challenges as they come instead of having their problem come back. So that is also another thing that you want to make sure you are doing with your clients.
Dark, this deep dark well, and like there's water sitting at the bottom of it.
What's in the
And
well?
like the water's like it's just stagnant. It's been there a really long time.
So, to answer the question initially of what is the best metaphor for a client experiencing a physical symptom, whatever is the best for the client, whatever they come up with. The best metaphor for a client with physical symptoms or any presenting problem they come to you with is the visualization or the metaphor that naturally comes up in the session. As you can see here, it is very natural. Sadie only asked about the problem. Deb naturally came out of this metaphor, of this visualization of being in a well that is dark. Okay. Sadie didn't have to tell her or think of a metaphor for Deb. Deb, who has the problem herself and is experiencing the problem herself, is describing this feeling of being in a well. So, the biggest point of this is if you're going to learn anything from this, is you as a practitioner, you don't need to stress yourself out. You don't need to pressure yourself. You don't need to over prepare. You don't need to think of 5 million things and overly research your client's jaw pain symptoms and what it could mean, because you're going to poison this very natural thing that is happening with Deb right now. And I know that you can't see that, but her unconscious mind right now is working big time. And unfortunately, not a lot of practitioners are trained in this very high level skill to really help the clients transform. And as you can see here, she is just really reconsidering the problem. This is
Yeah,
her
that's sort of
resolving.
that stagnant sort of water. It almost feels like sticky. Yeah, sort of like really sticky in my chest, and like the well sits below my chest. And the stickiness, yeah, it starts at the bottom of my chest, and the stickiness is the stagnant water sitting there. And like the insides of the well feel really dark and heavy.
So, as you can see, she is describing her problem, right? And remember, I mentioned earlier that her problem was about the feeling of jaw tension. Okay, so a physical problem of jaw tension. And now she is talking about this feeling of stickiness, this metaphor and visualization of a well in her heart that's sticky with stagnant water. That is her experience. That is her unconscious perception of the problem. I'm going to just do this so it looks better. But that was her description of her problem. Now, what does this have to do with jaw tension? Who knows, right? Who knows? It doesn't matter. This is why symptom level techniques that you've been taught before about the jaw, and you've probably been taught to have your client relax their jaw, have your client to maybe relax their body, relax their jaw. But meanwhile, we have Deb here who's literally, and you're going to see how her problem is going to be resolved very soon after we forward this. You can see that her jaw problem is like anatomically, it's right here, right? But the actual real problem is in her chest. This is real transformational work. Truth of the matter is, presenting problem is the end, is the end goal. So if your client has a symptom, maybe it is pain for this particular circumstance, it's in the jaw. The real problem is not always going to be in the jaw. It's actually very rare. In the nervous system, chronic pain world, if we're chasing the symptom, for example, the jaw, we are looking in the wrong place because that last symptom of the jaw is where the pain ends or where the discomfort ends. That's not where it starts. Okay. And this is going to blow everyone's mind. The symptom is the end, not the start. So if you want to get to your client's root cause and you're focusing on that symptom problem, that's superficial level results. Unfortunately, that's how you've been taught. That is how you were trained, which is not really that good and very low quality. You will get good results with that, but not the next level amazing 10 things in one result in a session that you would have had you known how to use these skills. And so let's see what happens to Deb after this whole experience. Let's fast forward it to the end.
So how do you feel about the initial problem, Deb?
Well, when I started this, like I still had that residual tension from note taking and transcribing I'd been doing before this, and it certainly has disappeared. You know, with this tool I've just pulled out of my back pocket and gone, this will do. So yeah, that'll be an interesting tool to come back to when I transcribe some more and
Yeah.
see what happens.
And so, as you can see there, she said that the jaw tension is no longer there, right? It was there at the beginning of the session, it is no longer there. And what she had learned from that and the tool that she had come up on her own by herself had to do with that stickiness feeling in the heart and relieving that. And so, as I mentioned before, what needed to be worked on, the real problem had to do with that sticky thing in her heart. And so when she resolved that problem in her heart, naturally, what was attached to it, which was the jaw tension, resolved on its own because the root, the heart, which is what the for this particular problem, what the real problem was, by indirectly um, working on that, that's when she resolved that problem. And so this is what true transformation is. This is what real deep transformation is. You going beyond the problem and your client themselves finding a way, their very special tool for how to deal with a real problem. Okay. The symptom problem was her jaw. She never needed to do anything for her jaw. What she needed, which was a real problem, was figure out what the hell was going on in her heart, which she resolved in the middle. And also, once that was relieved, the symptom problem of the jaw immediately faded away because the real problem was whatever was going on in her heart center, stagnant water, stickiness in her heart was relieved within the session, and hence why the rest of the symptoms, probably a bit more, had resolved completely. And so this training definitely goes way beyond what metaphor is to use. And this is the high level stuff that we talk about inside the neurosync training. This is real unconscious work in action. As you can see, there's no hypnosis, there's no magnets in between the hands, there is no relaxation, there is nothing really overly hypnotic looking. But as you can see, Deb, she looks very happy here compared to like before. You can kind of see her tense here at the beginning, right? But at the end, she is very happy. So you can see a physiological change in her system. This goes way beyond the mind tricks, right? This is real deep work in action. And so, if you are extremely tired of the surface level results and you're looking at this and you're like, I don't get this, but there is something really cool about this, you get to listen to that because the fact that you don't get it means that there is more for you to learn. And what is life without growth and learning, right? And so, if you are sick and tired of hit or miss results, of boring sessions, of sessions that make you want to pull your hair out, you're tired of stressing because you're preparing too much, you're tired of losing sleep because you're preparing too much for your sessions, and you just want to go into your session just like this and have your client go from like really stressed out to very happy like this immediately within minutes without having to overly do anything on your part, just learning to trust your instincts and learning how to connect deeply with your client because you're craving high level intellectual and deep conversations and transformations with your client that go beyond the boring things that you've learned right now, then the nursing community is definitely for you. So if this is of interest to you, comment neurosync below, but I'll also drop in the details on the links below for you to join the community and be part of the wonderful practitioners who can get client results easily in session 1.